Stand ready for my arrival, worm.
Everyone expects villains to have a reason, a tragic backstory, a misguided ideology, or at least a goal that makes sense. Conquest shatters that expectation. In a world where even the worst villains have moments of doubt or complexity, what happens when you face one who finds genuine joy in your pain? A living weapon who survived thousands of years by being the most effective killer in the galaxy. That's what makes Conquest such a masterclass in creating a pure villain. He isn't evil because of circumstance or ideology. He simply is what he is, perfect in his purpose, unburdened by doubt, and utterly committed to breaking others. And to understand why he works so perfectly, we need to go back to when Conquest descended to Earth.
I am Conquest, and I am your last chance to fulfill your duty.
The Viltrum Empire had waited long enough. Their patience had worn thin. They were done with subtle infiltration, and this time they were here to conquer what was rightfully theirs with overwhelming brute force. They weren't just sending random soldiers to scout Earth anymore. They were sending a monster that had crushed civilizations, and his legacy was written in the blood of countless worlds. He was the right-hand man and executioner of the Viltrum Empire. They were sending Conquest. But this wasn't the first time we met him. We'd seen glimpses of him before, in a quick mention when Omni-Man was talking about the bloody history of the Viltrum Empire's many wars.
But what emerged from the ashes was unstoppable.
He was more than just a warrior. He was a living piece of their empire's most cruel time, the survivor of the Purge, where Viltrum killed off its weaker people. His hands had torn through flesh in that killing. He had heard the screams. He had watched with cold eyes as the weak died. In a culture where only the strongest survive, where weakness means death and power means everything, we see Conquest full of white hair.
The Empire anticipated your resistance, which is why they sent me.
An old man from a species with decelerated aging isn't a sign of weakness. It's proof that he's killed everything that has ever tried to fight him. Every single enemy. And now he's here, floating above Mark, looking down at Earth's defenders like they're nothing but farm animals. His aged face shows smug pride, just like a true Viltrumite facing beings he thinks are beneath him. His timing couldn't be worse. It's perfectly planned for maximum damage, maximum fear, and maximum hopelessness. Mark had just survived the chaos of Angstrom Levy's attack, a nightmare where he fought over 10 versions of himself from different dimensions.
Not only have you destroyed his planet, but you've also destroyed him.
He was drowning in guilt over the damage Levy caused, questioning every choice that led to this moment, thinking how he could have prevented it.
And now, all I can think about is how I should have killed him.
And now, when his body is still torn up from fighting versions of himself, when his energy is gone and his spirit is at its lowest point, he has to face Conquest, the Empire's ultimate weapon. Humanity was at its weakest. There were no more superheroes who could stand against Conquest. Cecil looks for Sinclair's creations, their last possible trump card against Viltrumites, but there are still 2 weeks of testing left.
We're at least 2 weeks away from even a trial run!
Mark became humanity's one and only hope, barely able to stand up to Viltrumites the last time he met them. Just like Mark faces an unstoppable force in Conquest, you're facing one too. But this villain doesn't fly or throw punches. It tracks, silently, relentlessly, every click, every scroll, every move you make online. That's where today's sponsor, Proton VPN, comes in. Built by scientists from CERN, the birthplace of the internet, to fight for online privacy. No logs, no targeted ads, no gimmicks, just real privacy. Backed by Swiss law, open source transparency, and verified by independent audits. With Proton, you can bypass censorship, stream geo-blocked content, block traders and malware, and protect your IP from anyone trying to monitor you. Over 100 million people already trust Proton to keep them safe. because in the real world, the most dangerous villains are invisible. So if you want to protect your future self, click the link below and try Proton VPN today. Let's get back to the battle. During his training with Cecil, his speed increased by 65%, endurance by 70%, and strength by a whopping 138%. But even that might not be enough against someone who is killed for thousands of years.
And his strength, 138%.
Mark knows deep down that he's not ready, not by a long shot. He alone must face Conquest, the living symbol of Viltrum's golden age of killing.
But soon, another will come.
He's here, and the real war begins now. Conquest declared his mission to subjugate Earth, and this time he had no limits holding him back. He was given complete freedom to do whatever he wanted to take over Earth. And he did it his way, toying with Mark even though he's obviously way stronger. In fact, he was trying his best to prolong the fight. Conquest was a pure-blooded sadist.
See, to me, there is no greater pleasure than feeling the warmth of my fists drenched in blood.
The only time he feels joy is when he sees people suffer, him hurting them and having their blood splattered all over his arms. But he wasn't always like this. Conquest was one of the best Viltrumites at conquering planets, and he would be repeatedly sent on missions to take over them. The better he got, the more missions he was sent on.
And as I get better at it, they fear me more and more.
And Viltrumites started fearing him.
All the other Viltrumites are scared of me.
How could someone so similar to them be so good at domination? Even amongst the Viltrumites, he was seen as an outcast.
No one talks to me. No one wants to be my friend. They think I am unstable.
Someone that they couldn't relate to.
Conquest. I don't even get a real name. Only a purpose.
He didn't have a normal name like Nolan or Anessa. He was named after what he was good at, Conquest. The only time he was able to experience any form of joy was during combat. He could just forget about everything else and enjoy the brutal fight he was getting into. I mean, how else can he solve the loneliness he's facing? Mark gets pulverized, and his little brother Oliver couldn't keep watching without doing anything. And he was able to stop Mark from being beaten up. Well, only for a tiny moment.
Take a break while I focus on the boy.
Oliver started taking the brunt of the attacks, and for the first time, he learns what a strong villain is like. He always questioned Mark's restraint against villains, even though he was strong enough to kill the twins that broke out of jail. But this time, he fully understood how it felt to be dominated entirely by the villain.
Just as it starts to rip. This is going to be amazing.
The two half-Viltrumite brothers weren't even coming close to defeating Conquest. Humanity seems to have lost all hope.
I don't want you to miss this.
But there was just one hero that no one expected to join the fight. The hero who lost a leg fighting the other Invincibles. Eve. She woke up from her coma, and the first thing she did was puzzling, talking to Cecil.
I can rearrange matter, Cecil, so I might be the only person on Earth who can stop him.
Why wouldn't she just fly towards Mark to help him? Maybe there were powers that Cecil could have helped her unlock?
Eve, don't ask me to do this.
You don't have a choice.
Eve swoops in, and for the first time in the entire fight, we see a hero who is able to stand her own against Conquest. She could manipulate the air pressure around him, slowing him down and creating a wide range of weapons that could push back Conquest. A bunch of skills we've never seen from her. And for the first time, we're seeing Conquest struggling. A small hope for humanity, only for it to be crushed seconds later.
How long can you keep this up?
Conquest's years of experience knew Eve couldn't hold him back for long, reinforcing this one particular concept. Only a Viltrumite can stand against another Viltrumite. He wanted to bring Mark back into the fight, and the only way was with a vile idea. One that would surely enrage Mark and enhance Conquest's entertainment. He started an onslaught of attacks on Mark's lover, Eve. He tore at her intestines and destroyed her face with methodical cruelty. Seemingly killing his one and only lover. That'll get him to try harder. Eve's body started free-falling. Mark cradled her broken body, whispering his final words to her.
I can't live without you.
Rage slowly builds up in Mark, and this time, Mark showed that he was able to match Conquest. Even when he lost his mechanical arm, he wasn't really trying to kill Mark. Conquest was just enjoying the fight. Then he launched himself at Conquest, unleashing a barrage of blows with his left arm. This was exactly what Conquest wanted. Mark is fighting harder, with more passion, but it still wasn't enough. What could save the Earth if its strongest superhero stood no chance? Unexpectedly, Eve shot a ray that caught Conquest off guard. She had to have her powers sealed when she was young because it would have caused havoc. But her being that close to death unlocked her true powers and gave Mark the moment he needed to turn the tide against Conquest. Mark pounded him with his left hand so hard for all the rage and hatred he felt. He didn't stop when Conquest was defeated. He held way more anger than that. He made sure that Conquest was disfigured, just like what he did to Eve. In 2 episodes, we saw the debut as well as the end of Conquest. A villain that made such an impact on the community, there's videos about him everywhere. But how? How did Conquest make such a huge impact in 2 short episodes, while other villains barely get remembered? While other antagonists wear the mask of a villain, Conquest embodies it completely. Unlike Omni-Man's dutiful violence, Conquest operates without the safety net of justification. All that matters to him is that he gets to beat people up. His villainy exists as a fundamental truth. Pure, undiluted, and terrifyingly authentic. His comfort in his nature separates him from the other villains. And the best part? He enjoys it. There's no internal conflict to resolve, no hidden wound to heal, no greater good he's doing evil for. Other villains eventually reveal their vulnerability, the crack in their armor that makes them human. He was the essence of what an unapologetic villain was. Traditional villains falter when confronted with their own contradictions and weaknesses. This villain stands resolute in his purpose. While past antagonists crumbled under moral questioning, he embraces his role without hesitation or doubt. There's no hidden good side waiting to be unlocked, no redemption arc lurking in the shadows. When heroes challenge his worldview, he doesn't retreat into defensive justifications. He simply continues forward. It's this pure embodiment of his nature that separates him from all of the forgettable villains. He isn't evil because of circumstance, he simply is what he is. Conquest was a villain who excelled in pulling in tension. You don't ever truly know what he would do. One moment, you're in a fight with him, and the next, he'll be attacking your lover. He wouldn't hold back on the vilest plans if it meant he would be able to enjoy his fight more. He was the symbol of despair that appeared, and he played an important role as a catalyst for the growth of Mark, Oliver, and Eve. He forced every hero who faced him to either grow, pushing past limitations they never knew existed, or be destroyed. His presence compels others to make difficult decisions, face harsh realities, and emerge fundamentally changed. Every confrontation becomes transformative, setting the stage for future developments that would be impossible without his influence. What makes this villain genuinely terrifying is his psychological fortitude. When defeated, he adapts. Other antagonists might falter in the face of setbacks or have moments of doubt in their darkest hours. Not him. Even with a broken arm, he would gladly fight on. The hero may win individual battles, but this villain's war is fought on a different timeline altogether.
Burn it.
We might not have been able to see what he did thousands of years ago, but we might be able to see what he has in store for us in the near future. All because Cecil had other plans. And spoilers! Turn around if you don't want to see it. The monster roams free and lives to cause more terror. Conquest might be the strongest villain there is in Invincible, but there is just one other character who was able to flip the switch and cemented himself as the best twist villain. If you want to find out how Invincible was able to deceive everyone, click here to watch that.